Well, hey, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about, is a joint venture a partnership? So are you considering partnering up with somebody to do a real estate investment deal? You might be wondering, should I be doing a joint venture or should I be doing a partnership? Or is a joint venture actually a partnership? What's the difference? What are the similarities? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about here today in this video. What's a joint venture? What's a partnership? How are they similar? How are they different? And which one should you focus on for your deal? All right, so joint ventures and partnerships are both legal entities for doing a deal. So it's both a way for two or more people to join forces and invest in real estate. So they're similar in that way. They're similar in profitability, but they differ in how they're structured and duration and liability and a few other things. Okay, let's take a look at a joint venture. And yes, this is a kind of partnership. It's where you join forces with another person or one or more people to do a real estate deal. And each one of you brings resources to the table. So quite typically in the way that I've seen this done most often, there's one person that comes on board as basically the doer, the operator, the deal maker. They're the one that has the experience, brings the deal to the table, brings the team to the table, and then the other partner brings in the money and perhaps the credit to make the deal happen. So they join forces and they do that deal. They buy that property and they share in the profits correspondingly. All right, so it's pretty simple there. The big thing about a joint venture is that typically it's for that one specific deal. So it's all tied around that one property. It's not tied to any other property. So once that property is sold or it's liquidated, whatever happens there, then the joint venture is done. It's completed, okay? So a good example of this is when I was doing single family homes back in the day, and I was doing a style of rent to own real estate investing where we would find a really good qualified tenant buyer and go out house shopping with them. And then together with a joint venture partner, we would buy them a house and lease option it to them for 2 or 3 or 4 years while they got their credit situation fixed up and while they got their down payment paid in installments. And then we'd sell them the property at the end for a profit. And my joint venture partner and myself would share in those profits and the cash flow during the deal, the non-refundable option fee up front, the equity difference at the end, the mortgage pay down, all of that would be split between my joint venture partner and myself. So that's an example of a joint venture partnership. All right, so if that's a joint venture, what is a partnership in real estate? What's the difference? Well, a partnership is a longer term kind of situation. A partnership typically is kind of like a business partnership. It's not dependent on one specific deal. It covers all of the deals that those people are doing. It's kind of like its own little business entity. So a great example of this are some clients of ours, Laddie and Shelley. And this is a husband and wife team who are life partners and they're also real estate partners. These two buy all of their properties in common and together. So they are working together on their real estate investing business. The whole business is in both of their names. The properties are in both of their names. Everything's under both of them. So it's not just deal specific, it's their whole real estate investing business in general. So it's much longer term, a lot more properties, a lot higher volume of properties involved in this kind of a situation. All right, one of the big differences between a joint venture and a partnership is liability. So with a joint venture arrangement, typically the liability is limited to that specific property, right? That's as far as it's going to go. But with a partnership, liability can cross the entire portfolio that those partners own together. So there's a lot more liability risks when it comes to a partnership. The other big issue is control in these kind of things, a joint venture versus a partnership. So typically in a joint venture type arrangement, each partner has control of their percentage ownership in that particular property. So for example, let's say it's one primary, the active real estate investor, and they've got 3 partners, and the active investor owns 50% of the deal, and the 3 partners are splitting the other 50% between all 3 of them, then that would be their limit of their control and their influence over that particular deal. On the other hand, a partnership typically is a 50-50 across multiple properties. So again, in the example of Laddie and Shelley, the 2 of them make decisions jointly, based on a 50-50 ownership of all of the property. So control is another big aspect to keep in mind. Next thing we need to look at is profitability. So in a joint venture situation, kind of like the example we talked about, the profitabilities, the profits and losses are shared amongst all of the partners in corresponding to how much money they put into the deal. So for example, if one partner owns 1/3 of the deal, they get 1/3 of the profits or 1/3 of the losses. On the other hand, a partnership, typically it's spread amongst all of the partners. No matter how much money they put in individually into any particular deal, it's spread across all of them, the profits and the losses. So again, that gets back to risk and liability. Typically with a partnership, there's a lot more risk and there's more liability as well. So personally, I'm a much bigger fan of joint venture arrangements versus long-term partnerships when it comes to real estate investing. And if you're interested in finding joint venture partners, I've got a great resource for you. It's my book, The Money Partner Formula. It says it all in the title. It's a formula for finding your ideal money partners, your ideal joint venture partners. So this is going to show you exactly where to look, who to look for, who your ideal partners are, where they're at, how to access them, how to get their attention, and how to get them coming to you about your deals instead of you chasing after them. So if you want a free copy, go to investorattractionbook.com or click on the link in the description below.